I recently brought myself this, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and I think it might be actually a brilliant camera for content creators, vloggers, anyone who wants to make video content. I will go through in this video the pros, the cons, my experience. Not all of it good, but I want to give an honest opinion of this. I purchased myself this camera specifically when me and my brother went to the Nintendo event in London. I wanted to have something that was super easy to use but could record good quality footage, small, compact, fit in a pocket, fit in our bag easily get out, turn it on, film some stuff. Don't have to mess around with a DSLR kind of bigger camera or anything like that. That was why I purchased this. It has multiple other uses which I will get into for me personally, but obviously it is just an all-round very good camera. Cannot complain about the quality of the footage that it produces. It's very good. Like I said, I have some points which are sort of more negatives, more cons, so that you guys can make an informed decision, really, basically. Because, I mean, they haven't paid me to do this. They didn't send it me for free. I bought this out of my own money. And I just want to give my own opinion on it. Because it is a very good camera. But there are downsides. Positively, it's a great camera, right? It does 4K. It'll do 4K, 120 FPS. So you can do sort of slow motion. The gimbal is really good at being able to minimize any shake or any stuff like that. Great with the little joystick it has, super easy to use to move the gimbal around. It has a lot of different settings, right? It has, you know, face tracking, so the camera will actually move to follow a face. If you're doing like a vlog and you're pointing at yourself and you're moving around, the gimbal will move to track your face. I've got like the DJI store open here so I can give you the stuff. It's a 1-inch CMOS sensor, 2-inch rotatable screen. I really like that. That was a good reason for me buying it. Like, it has this screen which you can rotate to record landscape, or you can do that and it can record portrait. So if you're doing sort of TikToks or shorts or something, you can do that. Doesn't record in 4K when you do that. When you do vertical videos, it doesn't record 4K. It records 3K, which is a little bit not strange, but it's a point I should point out. It has this active track, so you can set it to track and it will follow a thing, just like the face tracking does, kind of deal. Stereo recording, again, it's not something I used really. I actually purchased a specific microphone, another DJI product. Is it DJI or DJI? I don't know. It's fine. You guys know what I'm saying. I purchased a microphone specifically. Now, the Osmo Pocket 3 does come with a creator bundle. Now, the creator combo is a little bit spenny for me. I mean, the camera itself, not a cheap buy. I'll give you that, but it does do good. But the creator bundle is like £619 I'm looking at right here. It's currently sold out on DJI store, so you can't necessarily even buy it from here. That comes with a microphone along with a few other bits and bobs, but because I didn't want to spend an extra 100 and whatever it is, 20-30 pounds, I bought this myself from Amazon. This is the Mic Mini, I believe, the DJI Mic Mini. So the microphone is literally, it is tiny. It has a little magnetic attachment, so you don't have to, it's got a clip on it, so you can clip it, but you can also just like magnetize it on, so it can just stay wherever you want it, basically. It's very cool, very useful, and super compact. This case is like almost way too big for it. Obviously, it's got cables and wind shields and stuff in it, but the mic itself is absolutely tiny. Could easily fit in the DJI bag. Here, I know I'm doing this really weird because I'm having to reach around the mic, but I have this bag which is made for the Osmo Pocket 3, so I can carry a little tripod and its base extender and stuff in it. The mic could easily fit in there, and I probably should do that rather than carrying it in this whole separate case, but I'm not really carrying this around, but there we go. I bought that because it syncs directly to the Osmo Pocket 3 itself. You don't have to have any sort of separate audio recording thing, which is exactly what the Creator Combo does. It's a different mic to that. It is the DJI Mic 2. Okay, so I have the Mini. This one's the Mic Mini, and the Creator Bundle thing comes with a DJI Mic 2. They're both microphones, okay? I don't know what to say. They're both microphones, but I bought this one because it was cheaper. This was £49 on Amazon. But I wanted to try and have the best audio possible. Turns out the event we went to, very noisy, and I hadn't had enough time to play around with it. Maybe you can make it better. You can clearly hear me over the noise. Don't pay attention to how bad I am at the game. it functions, and I'm sure in a quieter environment, it's a lot better, and it provides good quality audio. As for the Osmo Pocket itself, I'm sure the recording audio is fairly decent. Bought a new camera specifically for this event to make it easy for Jake, and just simple in general, and hopefully it looks good. So there we go. Positives to this are it's super compact, it's super usable. You don't have to be any sort of experienced camera user to be able to use this. It does just make sense. I like the fact that the screen is flippy and cool, and it just activates when you flip it. You got a little stick down here and a record button. Now it does come with a handle. Currently on the bottom is a USB-C. You've got your handle that you plug into it, if I can get it the right way around. That's just a little bit of extra handle grip there, but it also adds a thread to the bottom so you can put it on a tripod or a mount or anything, and it moves the USB-C charging to the back, which is handy if you want to sit it down and have it on charge while you're recording. I also have this little tripod, which is like an extra that you can buy, but obviously that does screw onto the bottom here, and if anything, gives you more of a handle to hold if you wanted a bit of a bigger grip. The Osmo itself, on its own, without any of this stuff, like just this, kind of it's a little small. Like, I'm only holding it by like 2 fingers, and yeah, I mean, I can't complain about it being small, but also praise it for being small. The point is it's small, so yes, it's small. So that's a really good positive, right? The recording quality is great, and that's super important when it comes to video recording, because that's why I bought the camera. That's why I spent the money on this camera, because the quality was good. It's the newest of the Osmo Pockets. They do an Osmo Pocket 1 and 2, which are obviously older, and generally the quality of this one is superior in many ways. It has many different functions. It has the flippy out screen, which I figured would be more useful. I'm mainly recording horizontal video rather than vertical, so it means you can see a bit better, you know, if you're the filmer and stuff. It has a lot of positives over the previous ones, and from when I was doing my research, I like to try and do my research before spending a chunk of change on something like this. A lot of my research ended up with Reddit, and Reddit posts saying things like the Osmo Pocket 3 is a significant improvement to the 1 and 2. It is effectively a whole new camera creation. It's entirely different and much leagues better than the previous ones. I haven't played around with the previous ones, so I can't tell you that for definite, but that is the vibe I got from a lot of my research, and so I did decide to spend the extra money and buy the 3 due to that. I mean, like, I knew I was going to an event. I didn't know what lighting would be like there. I didn't know if it would be, you know, dimly lit. So I wanted to have something that could record in low light, in daylight, just whatever situation I threw at it. I wanted this to be able to just be turned on and record and produce good quality. And it did. That is something it did do, and I'm very pleased with the quality of it. Now, I will be using this for future, if I do any sort of vlogging or traveling, and specifically for VR videos. This is going to super help me, because previously I had to take a whole camera in there and a separate mic setup, whereas if I can just use the mic and the camera, stick it on this little tripod and stick it there and record, and I can record vertically if I want. If I just want me full body vertical, it's going to be great for me recording VR. Now, I wouldn't say it's probably necessary, but it does sort of speed up the process of me recording a VR video, because I move all my stuff into a different room to record, so I've got space and all that stuff. So, you know, I don't have a set VR room. That'd be lovely, but we're not there. It has multiple purposes, right? It's a good all-round camera for many different things, and I like the shots you're able to get. It has its different settings and different things it can do. It can do some sort of like 180 shot. I don't know. I haven't played with that, but I'm sure that you can get very creative with this, and it does give you a lot to work with in terms of your creativity to produce exciting, fun, great looking content. So that's a lot of positives, right? I've sung the praises of the device. Now we should probably talk about the slight negatives or worries that I have with the device. It's a bit of a longer story. So when I originally purchased my Osmo Pocket 3, it was not this one. This is, in fact, funnily enough, the 3rd Osmo Pocket 3 that I've had. The first one had an issue with the screen. So the screen that does this flippy out cool thing, and it does that. Now, my first one, the screen would not hold itself in place this way. It would always spring back. And while that doesn't necessarily affect the performance, you can actually set this to record in landscape or portrait, ignoring whatever position the screen's in. So I could have still recorded horizontal landscape video, even though the screen was vertical, obviously you can see a lot less. So I just wanted to make it, I wanted to have it working, you know? It clearly was something that was wrong. While it was functional, I considered it because we were getting closer to the event that I was buying the camera for, so I wanted to make sure I had the camera, even if it wasn't perfect. But I spoke to the DJI support online, and they were very helpful. So just want to clear that up to begin with. Both times I've interacted with the support team, they have been super helpful. Because I was going to an event, I made it clear that I need this camera by this date. Because I was sending it back under warranty to be replaced. That's basically what I did. But both times when I was like, hey, I need this by this date, they assured me that they would get it to me by the date. So, and they did. So cannot fault them for that. And again, everyone I spoke to was very nice, very helpful. It was an easy process. But yes, the first one had the screen that flippied wrong and didn't stay. So I returned that under warranty and they replaced it. Now, when they replace it, it seems like they don't physically fix the one necessarily that you send in. They take it in and they analyze it, figure out what the issue is. They let you know. They're good at contacting you back, sending an email saying, yep, this is what the issue is. This is how much it would cost. Obviously, under warranty, we're doing it for free, so it doesn't cost you anything. They were really good at that. So they did that. And then it seems like they send you out a different refurbished unit. It doesn't seem like a new unit. It comes wrapped and in the packaging like it would if it was new, but I'm pretty sure these are refurbished units rather than them just sending you new ones. Can't say that for definite. That's the feel I got. So the first one I sent in, and they sent me back a new one, and it didn't take that long. I'll be honest, it was a pretty quick process. And like I said, they are really good at communicating with you and making sure you get the shipping information so that you can be there to receive your new Osmo Pocket that's arriving. Got that one, thought, hey, it happens. Sometimes defects happen, things go wrong. I get it. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what your product is. Doesn't matter how expensive your product is. Sometimes things break, things go wrong, whatever it is. I'm now on to the second Osmo Pocket 3 that I have. And I charged it up and I thought, I just want to get used to using the camera. I want to kind of learn what it can do. I want to play around with it a little bit to get a bit more used to its function. And in the process, I noticed that when I charged it, it didn't charge to 100%. It charged to like 91 or something. And I was like, that's odd. This was my theory. Maybe it charged fast to like that and then it slowly trickle charged the rest of the way. I left it alone for a few hours to charge thinking it would get to 100. It never got to 100. And then when I used it, I carried on using it, thought, that's strange, I don't know what's wrong with it, but I'll keep using it. Because again, the event was coming up, so I'm thinking, I've got to use this. I have not much time to replace it if this one is also not working. So I carried on using it for a little bit, and then when I charged it the next time, it only went to like 80-something% at full charge. Like it wouldn't go any higher. And I was like, this is definitely wrong. So then I tried draining the battery fully. I thought maybe it's just like the battery is new and needs to be drained before it can charge properly. Again, I don't really know the science behind that theory, but that was my theory. So I drained it. I just left it recording so it would just use all the battery, put it on charge, and then it would only charge to 50%. And at this point, I'm like, that might not work for me. So again, back onto the support, back onto replacing it because it's under warranty and it has some sort of defect in it that means that the charging was not great. I would argue that this one was probably worse than the first one I had. While the first one was slight inconvenience, if I run out of battery, then it's unusable. Whereas the first one I could have used just with the screen not working. Anyway, got back onto support again, was like, really need this really quick. And they like expedited it for me and made it super quick. I don't know. They said they would. I don't know. It seemed pretty quick the first time. So they did that. They went through it and they sorted that out. And I got my third unit here, which seems to be absolutely fully functional. Clearly, these things can happen. The fact that I had two defective units was a bit weird. I don't know how many defective units there are or how likely these are to become defective or go wrong or break in some way. Clearly, you're spending a lot of money on this. You want it to work and function for a while, right? Nobody wants this for like 6 months and then, broke and it's unusable. That's a lot of money to spend for something that then breaks. And while the process of getting it replaced under warranty was easy and, you know, wasn't stressful and they were very nice, I don't want to be doing that every 3 months of using the camera. Another thing is that I worry about just the delicate nature of this. Now we have the gimbal on top, which this bit rotates and the whole gimbal rotates because that is the point of the gimbal. And while you do get like a nice carry case for it, like it's just here, you get this like case and you can put it in like this. and it's a hard case, so it stops it from, you know, moving about or getting messed up, which is great. I do worry about it being a little delicate and things going wrong. Now, while I haven't had any issues with the gimbal, you can see that that's a point of possible failure. Now, I've had points of failure with the screen, which again is a system that it flips out and it stays there. And my first unit was defective in that area. I don't know how likely or how common that bug, that feature, that defectiveness is. But again, it's an area where you can see that things might go wrong. It's the same with like, you know, flip out phones and stuff. It's like there's an added element there of possible breakage. And it just worries me that that's a weak area that could go wrong. I hope it doesn't, but it could be. In terms of battery, the battery error, I feel like that's less likely to happen. Obviously, batteries deteriorate over time in our phones, in our laptops, whatever it is. So yeah, fine. And a defective battery is a defective battery, but I feel like that's less likely to happen. If you're just charging it normally and keeping it charged and stuff, I don't feel like that's a thing that's going to go wrong often. But the screen and the gimbal worry me slightly because they are more moving parts and they are more slightly delicate. So those are really the negatives. I have had a couple of issues with previous units, but now I have a working unit, and when it works, it's really goddamn good. It's really good. It produces really nice video, and I think it's a great camera to have for IRL, vloggy, whatever you're doing, just any content that isn't, you know, I wouldn't use it necessarily for me sat here at this desk because a camera on a tripod works perfectly fine. You do have a little bit, feels like more control over manual focus and stuff with an actual camera kind of setup. But for something you want to set up quick, for something you want to be able to use on the go, the Osmo Pocket 3 is really good. I really like it. It was a lot of money to spend, but just because of the event I knew I was going to, I wanted to make sure I got the best footage. And so if you were doing something like a travel, you know, you're going traveling or something, and you want to make sure that you get the best possible footage in the easiest way, I really do recommend this camera. Again, I can't say for the longevity of its life. I hope for God's sake that it lasts a long time, because nobody wants a broken camera in 6 months' time. Doesn't matter what the camera is. Nobody wants that stuff to break. But we understand that stuff over time does break. It's just nature. It happens. But I hope that my worry about it being delicate is just my overprotectiveness of a new thing I have. I obviously don't want to have to always, you know, carry it on a special silver pillow and be careful. Place it down carefully. But I also know that I don't want to be able to, I don't want to throw it around. It's not any sort of rugged action camera by any means, but I'm hoping it's not as delicate as it may seem. So there we go. I mean, obviously throughout this video, I will include footage of my using of the camera and the footage it produces. Again, I have used it for this event, but I will be using it in future for other things. So if you stick around on the channel, you might see more use cases of it. All in all, I think it's actually a very good camera. I wanted to give my full, you know, unedited opinion. By edited, I mean nobody's told me to say anything, good and bad, so that you guys can weigh up whether it's something that you might want to look into. The links will be in the description if you want to go check it out. I will put some Amazon affiliate links, so if you want to go buy this on Amazon, then it helps support me. But if you don't, that's absolutely fine. If you've watched this video and thought, that camera's for me, maybe check the links in the description. So there we go. So thank you guys for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you did. It really does help me out massively. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye!